Currently, copyright protects works for the life of the author plus 70 years, or 95 years if it's corporate work, after which the work enters the public domain and it's free to be used by anyone. Congress has taken steps in the last couple decades to shrink the public domain and to stop works from entering the public domain. So in 1996, Congress passed an act that took foreign works that had entered the public domain and re-copyrighted them, restored their copyrights. And these were all works that were in the public domain and were being used by lots of different groups and lots of different kinds of organizations and artists. And all of a sudden, their copyright had been restored and they couldn't be used in the same way. And so Golan v. Holder is a Supreme Court case which challenges this 1996 act and says that it's unconstitutional to take works out of the public domain and restore their copyright. So the Motion Picture Association of America and the Hollywood studios have filed a brief in the case suggesting really that all expansion of copyright is good for the motion picture industry. I actually disagree with them. And I think if you look at the history of Hollywood, and I'm a film historian, what you see is that Hollywood has always relied on the public domain. From the very beginning of the industry, throughout every major change in the industry, they've used public domain works as not just a free source of information, but because those works are well known, they understand the audience for the works. To take a famous example, Walt Disney began adapting fairy tales to film because he knew there was a built-in audience. And the Walt Disney Company has continued to adapt fairy tales to film, knowing that there's an audience out there. These are tested stories. They already have fans. If you look at Hollywood studios, they're relying less and less on public domain works as the public domain shrinks. And they're turning more towards remakes of their own work, towards sequels. Studios have existed for a very long time with the understanding that the public domain is stable and is an important source of material for them. And so at lots of important historical junctures, they've used public domain works. And I think it's allowed for a lot of experimentation. Knowing that public domain works are stable and have a built-in audience, it's allowed studios to experiment with new technologies, to try out new genres.